Hey everyone, I'm going to review Marina Carr's Woman and Scarecrow play, which I saw last night here in Portland on 10/21 at the Corrib Theatre. It's an Irish contemporary theater house here. And I'm just going to, in the spirit of this review, approach it as somebody asking me, well, tell me about it. What's it about? Well, to a large degree, art of this caliber is ineffable. It really has to be something that you deeply experience, although Carr is certainly steeped in all the classics. She wrote this in 2004, but it holds up as completely timeless. It's like someone asking, well, what's the Theogony about? What's the poem of Parmenides about? What is, and here's a touch point to the show. Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov. There's a line in the show that really struck me as a dotted line that one can make to Brothers Karamazov, where the character says, Lazarus' great miracle was not going back into the grave. And in Brothers Karamazov, when Father Zosima dies, the great miracle that's to be performed, and it then leads into Alyosha's a dream inside sort of meditative experience. That is loosely there in a work like this, where it reaches into works prior and present time and a sort of inescapable mortality that, I'm having trouble with the language, and that's precisely the point. So let me go through it a little bit. Let me talk about what's going on, and I wanted to share my own work too, that I gave one of the lead actresses something like this, that I have made. And these are pieces that I'm going to be doing in my performances here. I call this one Bug Brains. Some other stuff with radioactive symbols and other things. Anyway, and I don't want to forget about the soliloquies that are in this play. I mean, they're incredible. Okay, so let's get to, stage layout. What are we looking at here? So it opens with, this is an old Masonic lodge that the play was performed in. It has a balcony and a large staircase. And the character Scarecrow comes down the staircase to the bed. There's a cabinet that is, nice wood material, large cabinet, but it's black at the bottom, and it's creeping up the cabinet. And then there's some other doors and a large, really nice, queen size bed. So Scarecrow is sort of the lead character's, just called woman. I didn't recall any of the names, but so her sort of psyche, her wit, there's a stressed cruelty. The first scene, I sort of thought Scarecrow had like a phantasmagoria machine that could reach between the living and the dead and was channeling this darker entity. And there's something going on between this barrier between our life, our dreams, our ambitions, and our death. So you kind of open with this character coming in, the woman wakes, and you find out there's this dark entity in the cabinet, and it's banging and clanging and groaning, and they're trying to turn it off. They're trying to deal with this dementia, this madness. And so, great setting up for everything that's going to transpire. And it just sort of, so from there, there's a lot of dialogue. It's sharp. It is Irish wit. It is Joyce. It's poetry. It's Yeats. To follow it. I mean, you could buy this and read it, but you really have to hear the jab, the stick, the move, the insult, and to sort of take it, move on in your life. Very much the sort of culture of Pittsburgh is you sort of take your hits and you keep going forward. Very different in Portland. This is not the way Portland people interact. But so it moves into the woman's ex-husband coming in, and he's just labeled him in the program. We find out it's and he's seeing a new woman, and there's a lot of tension about that. Oh, I want to talk about some subtleties before this scene. There's a mirror that's used to the woman, as narcissist, as reflection, as vanity, as beauty, and in surface ways too. Just, she's trying to reflect upon things and look, and she's seeing her bones, and you never really know what the prognosis is in this case, but she's dying. And so she witnesses herself, and Scarecrow kind of takes the mirror over to they have a armoire set up. And so a new character, the husband comes in first, ex-husband, and great. I mean, the actors, absolutely incredible. This is one of the best 3 plays I've ever seen. I couldn't sleep last night. Partially why I'm making this video. I couldn't fall asleep last night because I kept thinking of, just the experience was so deep. Okay, so he's after forgiveness in the way that he treats her, and she's turning away from it. She's not giving him what he wants, and it's indirect, and this comes up later at a point where he's like, and don't make me say it. So there's a reluctance on his part, and truth being spoken, okay, which leads to the next character, Aunt Ah. Aunt Ah barges through the door and just straight, stern, delivers the truth and brings forth the Catholicism connection. She's saying, I've seen you happy at your confirmation, and I have the pictures to prove it. And the ways of the world, and leading into one of her closing lines as she exits is sort of, and we've gone this far and we're all set to go all the way back. Sort of the recurrence of history and just the insatiability of what we desire. There isn't an end point. And so, yes, we have all these things happening, but the other ways may come back as well. So she exits. I can't exactly remember some of what happens next, so I'm going to go to the intermission portion. And the audience was great. All the people, I was chit-chatting, seeing what people thought. And it was, everyone was totally engrossed in this. So we come back from intermission, and there's a bunch of crow feathers around the bed. it's clearly she's getting worse. There's some medicine given to her, almost like a morphine. This is end stage of life. You know, you sip it because it will kill you. And there's some musings on her life lived and what's important. She had 8 children, and Aunt Ah's like, and I buried your mother, and I put him in the ground, and I'll put you in the ground too. She's great, and so you find out that woman is carrying a 3-month-old. She thinks she's 3 months pregnant. No one believes her, and it's a very quick line that just comes out and moves on. But as an audience member, I caught that, and I was like, oh, this is probably true. And there's never a confirmation of whether it's true or not, but it's the play itself that reveals that it's true. All right. So, characters coming in and out. Let me just complete that thought, and I can kind of maybe come back to some other things. So, there are a few soliloquies in this play, and one of them delivered at the very end. Woman is now out of bed. She stands up. Is about humankind, and it's for the unborn child. That's the reveal. Now, there's another subtle thing. It might have been in the play. It might have been a director's choice. But when Mother is just about to die, she lets loose a horrid scream. And that is the child. That is the pang of woman's loss of child in birth. And it's so touching. I mean, the thing is, I've got like chills here. It's so good what was done. So, okay. And it was great. There was like smoke creeping across the floor and a great lighting sequence that was done. Scarecrow returns. All right. So before that happens, so the husband really never gets. Let me kind of wrap everything up here. The husband never really. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe he did, but I don't think he gets the redemption. Okay, I got to talk about something else. So Joyce wrote about 20 or so epiphanies. I've read them. They're kind of hard to find. My own work gets into them, and I think this play has one in it. It's hard to exactly pinpoint, but it's around this. Let me think about what I was talking about before, because it's around this point and I'm losing track of thoughts here. Okay, so the husband doesn't get what he wants. The Scarecrow reveals that it is death itself. So it disappears at the point of woman's death. It goes back up the stairs and through a door, and then emerges out of the closet that I described earlier, and is dressed like a crow with feathers, has a face covered as death, and just this sort of the maw of death here now to consume you. It was woman played, but the actress sort of has a clipboard too, and she is sort of taking inventory and then taking blood out of woman's arm, which is very sort of symbolic of Shakespearean Merchant of Venice, and sort of the contract and the exchange of blood contracts, and that goes back a long time. I mean, Carr knows that. I was reading some other things about child sacrifice and, you know, death under the obsidian blade and sort of this blood as a binding agent, right? I mean, that's... So the contract is sealed. It's really the sort of alchemical layer here of the form and the formless, the form of death and the liquid blood, forming the bond of your departure. And there's things happening there that creates an epiphany, sort of, as Joyce redefined it. Aha, this is coming from me. This is going to happen to me. And you get a sense of that, but I think this is the big scene where it sort of all coalesces. So I think that's present. And then the soliloquies, the departure, and life sort of going on, and that was the show. I got a chance to talk with the director a little bit afterward. She was great. I foresee her being someone up and coming in Portland and making great theater. She had a series of questions in the playbill, and I didn't actually read the playbill when I showed up. I didn't actually know much about Marina Carr. I've never seen her plays before. I've never actually heard of her before. But that's my own ignorance. I mean, she's clearly... this was incredible. So, if you can buy the play, I was looking, it's about $60. I'm sure it would be great to read, but if you can see this work performed in the true theater, in the agora, and the interaction, and the intensity of it all, you get the cadence of the language and the ebbs and flows of your sense of what's happening. You'll be totally engrossed in this. That's the way to do it. That's why the theater is here, folks. That's the way to do it. So anyway, yeah, I don't have much more to say. My own work, I also deal with some soliloquies. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. Let's see if you want to try to pause that and read that. I don't know. But my own stuff is going to be coming out soon. They're hard to do. I was super impressed. Everything about this, excellent, top-notch. Like I said, one of the top 3 shows I've ever seen done. So check it out if you get a chance. All right, bye.